Welcome back to SHIB Planet, everyone. This is Ace. Today we're going to run another simulation to find out how much 500 million Shiba Inu tokens will be worth by December 2021. Now, this has been a very hotly requested topic, and that certainly makes sense because those who hold up to 500 million represent quite a large portion of the Shiba Inu holders at the moment. According to this diagram, about 86,000 to be exact. Now, I highly recommend that you watch today's video on your device at least ×2 speed. You just go to settings and go to playback speed and make it at least 1.5 or higher speed. I usually watch my own videos at ×2, so that will help you consume the content a lot faster. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to do a simulation, and just to clarify the difference between a simulation and a prediction is claiming that something is going to happen. A simulation, we are just running a scenario, usually using historical data, but we're updating it with current information, kind of like an if then else sort of scenario. Okay, that being said, let's get started. We're going to first of all configure our calculator, and we're going to find out the current price of Shiba Inu at the moment. Okay, it looks like we're at 7,987. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update that price. I'm just going to adjust the market cap so that we are accurate. So now we've adjusted the market cap. As we know, the circulating supply in the market at the moment is constant, so our price is accurate according to the market. So now we're going to buy 500 million SHIB at that. Okay, I'm going to buy 500 million SHIB. So at the current price, that's 3,993. So I'll just put that there. Cool. So we've bought our SHIB at the moment. So I've set a target for 50,000 and let's see if the simulation conditions we're going to run will reach this target, at least in terms of our investment by December. Okay, just it's important to note that the basis of my assumption is that we are going to continue in a bull market, and I'll show you some other macro indicators which I'll probably like to use. So actually, as you know, we've been running in a fairly in bullish conditions lately. So mostly Bitcoin has a current dominance of about 44%, followed by Ethereum, and they've all seen gains of at the moment 3 to 2% over the past 7 days. So we're just hoping that continued momentum as the markets continue rallying, that's just going to flow onto the other altcoins. Okay, so this here is the total cryptocurrency market cap. So I like using this when I do macro analysis. So what does this tell us? At the moment, as you know, the global market cap is around 1.9. If you watch my previous indicators, the target which we were aiming for was 2 trillion as a point of resistance. And if you notice that over the past 2 days, we pipped over 2 trillion globally at least 3 times. So that's once on the 14th of August, and then on the 14th again we went as high as 2.016 trillion, and then we pipped there once again earlier today, 2 trillion, and then over here as well. And if we look at the year-to-date chart, so this is the same chart, but then we're looking at what happened earlier. So this is in April. The last time that happened, when we crossed the 2 trillion, it was our first point of resistance. Similar sort of things happened. We crossed 2 trillion, then we went down. Then we started pipping above and beyond that, testing that point of resistance until after one final drop, it finally jumped to the market's all-time high. So that's going to fuel part of the basis of my assumptions. And also, as you know, we like to follow the Bitcoin stock to flow model, and basically the Bitcoin stock to flow model is a model which has accurately predicted the price of Bitcoin right up until this day. And currently, according to the model, we're actually short of what the price should be. So the market is trending towards that line. So I think it's important to put that as our assumption so that we can get through this. Okay, let's get started. So I've already configured Bitcoin. So let's just see. Now, as you know, in order for Bitcoin to get to at least its all-time high, according to the stock to flow, because the stock to flow claims that Bitcoin should be by December at about 100,000. So I've calculated it's going to be about roughly 280 billion market cap every month. So that puts 280 billion volume in September. I'm just going to adjust the market, the circulating supply. So this means by the end of September, we're looking at 61K for Bitcoin. So what does that mean? So if that happens, then typically last time Bitcoin was anywhere close to this influenced other altcoins, and SHIB was close to its all-time high. So I'm just going to take this assumption and we're going to try and I'm going to assume that in September we should be able to at the very least double our current market cap. So I'm going to put us at the very least at 7. And reason for this is I believe that at least by September, one major catalyst which we're waiting for is Coinbase, and Coinbase has 56 million users. And the last time we experienced a listing or a promise of a listing was on Coinbase Pro, where we jumped up significantly. I think it was maybe 30%. So I'm expecting that if something like that happens, we should be able to jump at least double. So I'm actually going to probably increase that and say maybe we should be able to get to even 10 billion by the end of September in market cap. And I don't think that's completely out of the question, because if Bitcoin is approaching its all-time high, this is going to set the market on fire in general, and that generally has an effect of improving the overall market caps of other coins as well. So let's see if we can jump to the next one. So when Bitcoin, according to this, will jump another 280 billion in the month of October. So, and I'll adjust the market, the circulating supply for that moment. So that means if Bitcoin continues at that trajectory towards 100K, it would have to do another 280 billion worth of volume, which is entirely possible for Bitcoin. And that would mean that in the month of October is where we're likely to see Bitcoin surpass its all-time highs. Now, all-time highs are very important for the market, because this brings attention to cryptocurrencies in general, and this should continue setting the fire alight for other altcoins. And we are hoping that Shiba Inu will catch some of that. So I'm going to assume that at some point in October, Shiba Inu should be able to at least reach its own all-time high. So I'm just going to maybe double this, and I'll be very conservative, because typically when Bitcoin reaches its all-time high, at least according to last time, I think Shiba Inu followed after. So I'll be conservative and say that we'll approach or possibly even match our all-time high at this stage. So anyone who's invested 500 mil at this stage, your $4,000 investment would be about 17 grand. To be honest, if the market continues to be bullish, no one would call you a paper hand for taking out some of your profits and continuing to ride the waves of bullish conditions. So what bullish conditions can we expect? Obviously the market, and at this stage, I consider Dogecoin to be a big contender, and also any additional listings and additional media attention, which we'll likely be getting, because if Bitcoin is on fire, so too will other altcoins. And as in my previous video, I like giving attention to Dogecoin, because our growth was highly related to Dogecoin. And at this stage, let's see, I've already adjusted Dogecoin. I'll take us to, okay, that's probably way too much for Dogecoin at that stage. If Bitcoin reaches its all-time high, I'm going to be conservative with Doge again. And at this stage, let's just say they can get close to, maybe, yes, 78, which is still good for Doge. Remember, their all-time high was 90 billion. So, but the main difference now is when media attention starts coming towards these altcoins, They typically call Shiba Inu the Dogecoin killer. We're looking completely different now. We've we now have plans of an L2 blockchain coming. We have a decentralized exchange. I'm hoping that by this stage we've released NFTs. Our community is significantly bigger. We'll probably be at least 700 holders at the rate which we're going, 700,000 holders, which is a stark difference to when we were only 400,000 holders in April and May. So I'm taking into consideration all these factors and still calling us like being conservative. So maybe what I'll probably do here is I could probably double that and say, let's just say we're definitely over our all-time high. So at this stage, your 4,000 would be 23,000 if you haven't taken out any profits. And let's just see where that takes us next. We're going to jump to Bitcoin again, and then we're going to jump it up another 280K. So something interesting happens if this happens. Bitcoin would now be heading towards the stock to flows prediction of 100K. And in my view, this is, Bitcoin would be going absolutely parabolic, and this is great for altcoins in general. But two things could happen. It could continue its trajectory, but to be a little bit more realistic, Bitcoin will probably begin to lose its dominance because the attention will start going to altcoins. Because Bitcoin, it's big, but it doesn't have a lot of room to grow anymore. Gains in Bitcoin won't be as much as in altcoins. So if you notice that what I have here is 1/10 of a Bitcoin, and it's only jumped like since the start of the simulation. We've packed on since the start of the simulation 840 billion. But my $2,000 investment in Bitcoin has only become 9,000 there, and that's a stark difference to at even what we had done in Shiba Inu. If you can see, Shiba Inu was only 1,000 more, but we've reaped volumes more. So this shows to you that altcoins in general, they reap because they're newer and their market caps are lower. They reap bigger rewards than it does Bitcoin. So this is one of the reasons why alt season happens. Remember, the definition of alt season is when Bitcoin begins to lose its dominance and altcoins, start to take precedence. Okay, sorry for that mouthful. Okay, next thing which needs to happen is, okay, for Shiba Inu, in my view, media attention will continue, and we'll probably start seeing a lot of tweets from Elon Musk and regarding Doge, and probably and also the AKA Dogecoin killer. Personally, I'm actually neutral on the name Dogecoin killer. I know some people, would like it removed. I'm actually a little bit in the middle because I do kind of see that if it wasn't for that name, we probably wouldn't have got media attention. And media likes controversy because controversy sells newspaper. And in the world of crypto, all news is good news. Especially when you're trying to grow your project. So I think that contributed a lot. Maybe in the future we can remove the tag Dogecoin killer. Anyway, in addition, we by this stage, I'm hoping that our NFTs would be fully live and functional. NFTs are quite interesting because because we're quite a growing and vibrant community. If you notice something, we actually have a lot of people who are high volume, people who hold 1 billion plus. Some people have even trillions, and that's not even counting big holders who hold balances in the centralized exchange. So in my view, that'll mean that any NFT purchases will be purchased very quickly, and anyone who happens to the people basically won't have trouble selling them. So I do see a lot of volume happening here, which will ultimately result in good burns. But I'll talk about that later. So okay, cool. So what I'm just going to do for Shiba Inu, I'll continue to be conservative, and then I'll just jump it up at least here. I'm actually going to add, I'm actually going to make it a lot more, because I do think if we do win the battle against Dogecoin, at least in terms of media attention, then it's likely that we could even be at least 1/3 of their market cap at this stage. As you know, I like being conservative. So at this stage, your $3,900 investment is now worth 70 grand. At this stage, definitely, it's probably prudent to have taken your any profits, particularly to take out your investment so that you're just working on pure profits. And let's see where that takes us. Okay, cool. We're just gonna pop Bitcoin one more time to close to its all-time high. And at this, when it's reached its all-time high, I'll just quickly adjust for September. We're now, it'll probably be close to 2 trillion market cap. And this is pretty much close to what the stock to flow model says. Now, whether this happens in December or even a few months from now, generally this is where at some stage Bitcoin will arrive here. I'm not sure how far those models are true. There's actually another stock to flow model which I found, which is a little bit more conservative. It's absolutely identical to the one before. However, it puts us at 80K. It put Bitcoin at 80K towards the end of the year, and that to me sounds a little bit more acceptable. But in the world of crypto, nobody really knows um, what will happen. Another thing which I'm not considering is its impact on the geopolitical, because Bitcoin will continue getting a lot of attention. Some people view cryptocurrency and blockchain as a threat. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear government regulations and countries making certain decrees which might increase fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So it's very likely that it the price of Bitcoin could quickly drop. In fact, it almost probably will rally between 90 and 100, 90 and 100 for quite a bit. And what will this mean? So as for Shiba Inu, let me quickly head back to this chart. Let's just see. In my view, let's just say we get to December, and if we're lucky and the market continues to be hot, maybe I'll give us another 10 billion here. And I'm gonna one thing I haven't talked about is burning. So the NFT burns and any other utility burns, which particularly those which are concerned with the listing. We're anticipated to list up to 1,000 new woofable pairs in ShibaSwap, and all of those have a burn component for both leash and SHIB. So by my calculations, it'll probably be about maximum 2%. At the very maximum 2% in burn. That might sound small, but that's actually it's quite a lot, in terms of listing fees, and we'll speak more about that later. So that is pretty much what I think is an ultra conservative sort of view of what is likely to happen. And yeah, so I think I can leave it at that. Your $4,000 investment would be close to 90K, and you can do with that whatever you would like in this simulation. But if you've enjoyed with me this long, we might as well just keep going the whole 9 yards. Let's just see, as a bonus, what would it possibly look like in December 22. Now remember, this is a simulation, guys. I'm just throwing the stuff out there. These are all just possibilities. So one thing I haven't spoken about is leash and bone for 500 million holders, because it's likely anyone who holds 500 million SHIB probably holds leash. So I'm just going to put you at about one leash. I have close to one leash myself, and I have a little less than 500 mil. So I'm just going to assume people have that as well. And I'm going to put, and that's pretty much the amount of bone which I have. So I'll just leave it there. So this is the current price of bone. Bone as of today, there's about 53% minted. What could I do for a simulation for this? I personally think by then, the main problem with bone at the moment is during an alt season, not many people are thinking about their gains. So people are going to be putting a lot of their money into other tokens which are visibly increasing in value. And that makes total sense. And as a result, people are not going to be focusing a lot on Bone, but Bone is going to continue minting. And as it continues to mint, the price is going to continue to fall because of that inflationary pressure caused by um, by the minting. So it's likely to go down before it begins to go up. However, it does have some good aspects because it has a utility of governance. So once the governance mechanism kicks in, that might help increase the purchases of Bone. I'm just trying to be very ultra conservative and realistic. I do think, I don't know, let's just say I don't think it'll be 8. I do think we'll probably be around the $3 at the very most, in my personal opinion. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to move. I do think Bone has a strong possibility to be at least $5, but that's more at some point in 2022, particularly when, if only I had if you've seen the graph of Bone, there's a graph of Bone I probably should have prepared. Maybe I'll show you that now. Just give me a second. Okay, this is the Bone graph I was telling you guys about. If you notice that in here, according to you, this is when they have a sharp switch in the rate at which Bone will be minted. It looks like it'll go a lot slower. So as it goes a lot slower, that'll mean that that'll be a bit deflationary in nature, and the price of Bone should support a little bit more. I'm not saying it's $5 here. I'm just actually think it'll be a lot less, maybe around here. But you shouldn't count Bone out yet because in 2020 is most likely going to be a year of DeFi because with all the attention on crypto, which has come, people are going to start noticing the DeFi and how profitable DeFi is in comparison to decentralized finance. Just an example is all those people who've done really well on Shiba Swap. I think anyone who used the dig function, we experienced at least twice our money. I've seen even the top holder had about 6 million in there, and their profit is currently 6 million if you look on ShibaSwap. So with attention like that going into the DeFi space, as if we are positioned really well enough, I do think there's going to be a lot of attention on Bone, particularly once it starts holding its value a lot better. So remember, with Bone is a governance token, and typically with governance tokens, they behave differently. I'm going to compare it with Uniswap, and maybe I even PancakeSwap if I have time. Typically with governance tokens, let me see. I'll just look at this is the all-time governance tokens. This is pretty much since Uniswap is a governance token, it started off at 0, it shot up to $6, and then it was really low. It was $3 for a long period of time. Probably similar to what Bone is, but Bone will probably experience something because with Uniswap, I think that's the only token in their ecosystem. I could be wrong. We do have additional tokens which will probably take the limelight away from Bone until the DeFi revolution. Uniswap spiked here because of the spike in DeFi. I think that was because a lot of people started using the DeFi protocol function on Uniswap, and once people start doing that more with Bone, that's probably going to spike that. So I won't put a price on that, because it just happens suddenly. No one can tell. But if it gets to $5 at some point, that's actually not bad. Anyone holding 1,000 Bone will have at least 6,000 worth of Bone there. And I think I might talk a bit about Leash. Leash should be able to get to its all-time high. I won't put it in the exact month, but the all-time high of Leash was about 5,000. So Leash now has additional utility, and one of those utilities, it's now part of it is going to be burnt at every listing. So we're expecting at least 1,000 listings by the end of the year, and 25,000 worth of Leash is going to continually be burnt, and that's pretty big. I haven't fully calculated how much that's going to be for Leash, so let's just say it's 3%. It might seem minor, but as the time goes, you'll see that the pressure for leash will definitely start increasing, and leash is also possibly going to be what's going to govern the stable coin. So I don't know what that's going to look like, to be perfectly honest. But now leash will have potential 2 additional utilities. So it's probably really good to have your eggs, or your in more than one basket, if that's the expression. And I think I'll leave it at there. And that is the simulation, for at least for 500 million SHIB by December. And this is just a very bullish sort of expectation. Personally, I'd be happy if we got, even 2/3 of this. I like to try to keep things conservative and realistic to manage people's expectations. Having said that, 2022 should be a good year for Shiba Inu if the market conditions maintain. Because if they maintain, I'll show you why I think that. Because um, if you notice here in stock to flow, it's the price stabilizes for quite a while, and that's using both models. Both of them, after about December, for a long time they are actually quite flat until the next halving. It's actually quite flat. So when that happens, that'll that'll probably mean like Bitcoin has reached sort of like a critical mass, and that's when altcoins can begin to shine, because at that stage Bitcoin would have opened the door to the rest of the world of the potentials of blockchain. But I'll speak specifically about Shiba Inu. If and when that happens, that'll mean that if we're able to maintain anywhere close to these sort of market cap volumes, we should be able to, in my view, at least beat Dogecoin, because Dogecoin is good, but it's only a holder of value. Just like even Elon Musk says, he says Doge is money, money is Doge. That's all it does. It holds value. Now, the Shiba Inu is that and more. It's as always say in my videos, it's an ecosystem of tokens. In a part of our ecosystem, we're going to have a stable coin. We have DeFi. We have a DeFi protocol, in terms of dig and bury, staking and all those things. When ShibaNet eventually gets launched, you're gonna I believe that's probably really good for the community, and in terms of like a Shiba marketplace. And also another thing, Shiba Inu has a governance. I'm not sure if Doge has governance in it. That pretty much means the community has a say in the direction of where Shiba Inu will go. A good example is, how the devs were very vocally against burning in any shape, way, or form at the beginning of the year. So now, even before the governance got kicked in, they managed to concede and have introduced, at least 2 burn mechanisms: the NFT burn and the listings burn. And they said that there's more utility burns which are going to come in place, because obviously we can't just burn our own tokens. So they've brought about mechanisms where burns will come another way. So that's an example of governance, even though that's happening before even bone token. So all of that considered, I think we should be able to at least match Dogecoin by, let's just say, I'll add 20 billion in March. I'll add 22 billion. Cool. At the very least by then. And I'm saying March because I still think I'm being conservative in these bullish conditions, and maybe by the end of the year it would be good if we could at least put a pack on 30 billion. And the reason why I'm saying that is, the road to a lot of these things is it's going to be a bumpy road. Attention is not only Shiba Inu is not the only good crypto project which is out there. If you guys hold any other tokens, there's a lot of projects out there which have really good world utility and world value. So it's going to become a competing sort of race throughout this year. So the road upwards is certainly bright, but it's not a straight line. So that's why I have a very long-term view of Shiba Inu. So I'll be holding my tokens for quite a while and expecting bumps. Look, I'm going to add, maybe, was that 40 billion? 40 billion to the market cap. So taking us to, let's just say, towards the end of 2022. Yeah, maybe 130 billion. You could potentially double that, but I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just trying to see what that is. What I haven't not considered at the moment is burning. I do think there's going to be a lot more burning. If between now and December we've been able to use about 2%, I do think we'll be able to increase that dramatically because a lot more listings are going to take place in 2022. NFT, the market is going to be really big, and if our community continues growing, those NFTs are going to be just changing hands like hotcakes as the value continues to increase, and that's going to contribute to a lot of the burning. And also, I believe ShibaNet is going to have some transactional burning. I know we've been asking for those, and also, guys, we can't underestimate our governance token. Though the more we put pressure on the devs on ideas, which we can put, some of these things could be implemented. So I'm since I'm being extreme anyway, I'm just gonna say 25%, a 25% burn, which is not bad which is actually really good for a long-term view, especially for holders like myself who are looking up until about 2025. That's actually quite massive. So I'm just gonna leave it at that for now, and yeah, basically that's what it would look like if you're holding 500 million SHIB, obviously twice as much if you're holding a billion, and so forth. And another thing we shouldn't underestimate is um, the zeros here. A lot of people, we're trying to get zeros, but the zeros that we have actually attract people, especially if a lot of people are going to start coming into Shiba Inu. If we can become a top 20 token, um, one of the first things people are going to look for is things which they perceive are low value in the hopes of it becoming another Bitcoin. And these zeros are actually an asset to Shiba Inu. But I'm making this video long again. So thank you guys for listening. I'll check you out next time. Peace.